Okay, I should be live on. Let me just making sure that the settings. Yeah, I should be live on everything. Just turning the volume up a little bit. And the markets are opening in approximately 1 minute. There we go. Good morning. So there we go. And as you know, we're headed into November. We are in November. And with that, we got big news out. So today we got Non Farm Payroll. Just remember, obviously, it happens a little earlier than normal. We got average hour earnings, and then we got ISM 30 minutes in, and then we got a little thing called an election. So anyway, we could start off with the 10-minute strategy that I'm working on. So here's the 10-minute candle before the open. It's 8122 to 8112. And what the argument says that if you move a certain amount of points above the high or below the low, you jump on board. So in this case here, I use about 6 points for the FTSE, which means that it'll be a long just about here. Of course, it's tested, but it's not tested as much as I want to. So that's one thing you do need to bear in mind. I could imagine that the markets would be quiet ahead of non-farm payroll. And with that, we may need to be patient this morning. Excuse me. So here's a bigger picture of the FTSE. Now, of course, I was long, hoping. Now I was thinking, why am I not long from 28? So the first bar is positive. So if the FTSE was to come back down here again, that would mean a sell. So in this case here, if I had done this trade here, and say I was long at 28, which would be here, would I have had a stop loss at 12? No, probably not. I would have probably said I don't want it to start trading, say 2/3 into the range, and that's where I'm still undecided on how to place the stop loss on this particular strategy. So in the DAX, the high before the open is 19,095. So if you add 35 to that, you're going to get 30, which is here, which happens to be the double top. And what my research then suggested is that if we get up to this, if we start moving beyond this, this is where you get those really big pushes up. So it's interesting, it actually coincides with an overnight double top. That was the spreadsheet that I showed you with the 34 points. So it could be, can't really justify it like this, but it could be interesting to be a buyer above here, because you do seem to have a really positive bias this morning. But as I said, I just want to go a little, I don't want to say that I want to go easy, because it's not like I'm not aggressive and up for it this morning. I just don't really like to invent trading strategies on a whim just because I feel like, oh, you're missing out. I think I could be tempted for a breakout trade here. Please stand by. I would have a stop loss. Yeah, I have a stop loss at 86. See if I can get a better fill. I'm just going to buy the DAX here. I bought the DAX here at, I bought the DAX at 31. Sorry, I made a typo. So I'm going to move my stop loss up. Excuse me. So what I'll do is I'll look at the 10-minute chart, and you see how this big push here is dominating. So now I'll move my stop loss here. So understand that this is a different kind of technique. And then if we look at the 30-minute chart, we're thinking, could it go all the way up here? Which is about 186. Because what you have to remember is that the best trend days starts from when the market opens where it closed. No gap up, no gap down, just it started where it finished the night before. And that's what we're seeing today. Do I believe in that on a non-farm payroll day? That is perhaps a bit more iffy. But let's see. We're in. I'm in. Stop loss, you can see here at 19,110. I've been asked if I'm streaming the non-farm payroll. Now that you mention it, I think I will. Okay, so we have a pullback. Hopefully not too much of a pullback. So aggressive school run has now set up. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's this bar here. It would mean long above 54 and short below 27. And my current stop loss is at 10. I wouldn't mind trying to get that stop loss a little bit closer. So this is a subjective call. I'm long. I'm fully aware that the aggressive school run is setting up a short down here below 27, so around 25, and currently trading at 27.28. But as I'm already long, I won't be taking the school run, aggressive school run, short. And I may come to regret that, or I may go, oh, that was a good thing. But because I'm already long, I just have to differentiate between the two. I would take the aggressive school run long up here. So maybe to not confuse the situation, I can remove this line here. Actually, no, I think we should just keep it there, just for transparency. This is a 15-minute chart, and it shows my entry. It shows school run, aggressive school run, short entry, and my stop loss. Just gonna, I just want to show you something. I think I should be able to show you. So, just very briefly, what you're seeing here is the DAX on the 4th of October. This is an American software, so they always do it in month first and then date. This is a 15-minute chart of how the DAX was performing on the previous non-farm payroll. So what you're seeing there is a big push higher. That was a slight gap down. Follow through on the next. So basically 45 minutes pushing higher. The overlap between the first and the second was about, I think it was about 12 points. So from here to here, this is just a way of measuring how far did it encroach on the previous one. Of course, just because it did that last month doesn't mean that it will do this, but I just want to give you an okay, so this is how the DAX was behaving at the last non-farm payroll. So if I put that there and I put this one here, then you can sort of not be confused by the other trading days. Ignore this and ignore this. So this just shows the DAX on the non-farm payroll, how it behaved in October. Yeah. The one before that was the 6th of September. We can just, I don't want to go through many, but let's just go through one more. So here's the DAX in September. Again, let me just separate the trading days so you're not confused. Don't worry, I am keeping an eye on the position. So again, we have a gap down, follow through on the next, a big push higher, double bottom, and then that settled the morning. Basically, you just had a trading range and then an attempt to break out to fill the gap, and then the news was released. Technically, the news was released there. So if we go back to the 4th of October, so here's the 4th of October again. It's probably fair to say that we have a window of opportunity off the open. And if that window of opportunity off the open hasn't offered us sufficient buffer for our open position, you're probably not going to see a huge amount of activity. And then you have the news release, whatever that may be today. Anyway, let's go back to watching the market. So the DAX just attempted to push higher, and it did. So I'm going to remove the ASIS short, swap over to a 15-minute chart, and now you see that's a bit strange, you actually have a gap right there. And now you see the school run long line, and you see the school run short line. I want to move my stop loss up. The lowest trade I have so far after my position open was 24. So I think I'm going to move my stop loss up to 15. FTSE is motoring higher. Nothing I can do about that, I'm afraid. Sorry, I think I was muted. Apologies. Sorry about that. So what was the last thing you heard? I think it was yeah, anyway, I moved my stop loss to break even. Hopefully you heard that. I don't know if you heard what I said, but I said I think there's somewhat of a window opportunity in the first 45 minutes, and then there's then the odds on non-farm payroll days are significant that we are going to go into a somewhat broader trading range. If I look at the hourly chart, though, I am thinking that a breakout that would take the school run order could have some merit. It looks like that's just about to happen now. So there are buyers. So what I think I'd like to do, because I already have a long position, I quite like to actually see it take out the school run long area, and then perhaps buy at a retracement if it affords me that. So that's school run long being touched. Remember the old high was 154. That means I need to see it go to 158 really. It's only gone 156. But the beauty here is that I got a stop loss that's at break even. So this is the point where you have to decide, do you take profit on a double top? And you say, thank you very much, I'm done. Or do you hope for a school run long? Of course, if I was to be stopped out now, I would have to remember what I had just said about, do you take profit on a double top, or do you hope that the market is going to push higher? So I would quite like to take school run long, but it has to be on the proviso that I actually still got my long position from earlier. Because, as I said earlier, the data on non-farm payroll days aren't overly supportive of a strong move after the first 45 minutes. Of course, today could be different. That's always the case, especially considering how beat up the DAX has been. It's gone from 19,600 down to 19,000. And some would argue that there is, if I remove these lines here, oh, I can't, that there is some support down here. But that's the investor game. I'm in a different game. I'm in the day trading game, and right now I am long, and my stop loss is precariously close to being stopped out. If I was to get stopped out, I think I would call it a morning and just say, all right, I tried and I got stopped out for nothing. And then you can smile at me for not taking profits at the double top. Unfortunately, I've been stopped out. Stopped out for 0. Okay. I guess that's just the risk you had when you had a stop loss in such a tight trading range. So with that in mind, as I said, I think now I'll just call it a morning. I will stream the Non Farm Payroll that is coming up in about 3 hours or so, but I think I'll leave this alone. I won't take the school run long. It's a little bit annoying to get clipped on a stop loss. I knew that was a risk because I didn't feel that my stop loss was actually in a meaningful play. If I hadn't entered where I did, it felt to me as if that stop loss wasn't in an appropriate place. But I wanted to protect my position with a stop loss at break even, and it seems to me as if I got stopped out on basically a technicality. But hey, that's just how it goes. I'm just gonna have to accept that. I knew exactly what the problem with my stop loss was. All right, so Non Farm Payroll. If you are watching this in Europe or basically anywhere but America, America hasn't gone to winter time yet. They'll be doing that this Sunday, but the rest of the world has. So the Non Farm Payroll, I think, will be in. Let me just see. In approximately 4 hours, a little less than 4 hours, and I quite like to stream that. So I'll be tuning in approximately 4 hours. Until then, yeah, I'm sorry I didn't make any more of it, but I was being very clear about my position and very clear about my stop loss. And unfortunately, that little blip there stopped me out by 1.25 points. And I just have to accept that. And now it's back into plus. But I'll try not to watch it. I think that's one of the painful things about trading is to, all right, you had a position, let it go. But if you watch where the market is now, you'll be thinking, oh, Jesus, couldn't it have just not done that? That's how it goes. Okay, I'm closing down now. I will not stream so much this morning because as I said, I'm not overly convinced that after the first 45 minutes, there's such a strong momentum in the market. So that's me done. I will see you for Non Farm Payroll. Thanks a lot for this morning, and bye-bye for now.